Dumela mohira amola ho ditaba tsa rona tsa Sesotho ho Galaxy Universal Network ra fumana ho Starsat channel 500 le ho Facebook ka lebitso ke nna REFILOE MOHALADI. Dihloho tsa ditaba tsa kajeno di ka tsela ena. Ho thuntse wa bolawa motho ho bopelaetse hoseng kajeno motseng wa Braamfontein. EFF e hana tshwarelo ya mmali wa ditaba wa Newsroom Africa. Brian Molefe ho ntshetsa pele bobaki ho dipatlisiso ho tsa mose mawatle mokgatlo wa Republic o tswela pele ho sebedisa lebitso la Trump. Mohi harkene ditabeng. Mapolisa a thunya dikulo tsa rabara mme a sebedisetsa dikulo tsena ho sehlopha sa baithuti ba University ya Wits ba ipelaetsang ka ditifiso bohareng ba Johannesburg ka Laboraro. Ditshwantsho tsa Braamfontein khoneng ya Siemens le strateng sa Decoder mo monna e moholo a ileng a thungwa ha ba boholong ba ntse ba qhalanya ba ipelaetse. Netcare e netefaditse hore monna ya hlokahetseng sebakeng seo e ne se karolo ya ba ipelaetse.
So we have paramedics at corner Jorison and De Beer Street in Braamfontein, where a man has been shot and killed during a protest by Wits University students. The man is covered. As you can see, there are paramedics, emergency services vehicles. We're not yet sure if this man was shot by live ammunition or whether by rubber bullets. But his body remains here. It's covered, as you can see. We have bystanders who are obviously looking at what has happened here. There's also police.
EFF e boletse ka ho tloswa ka potlako ha se buisa Newsroom Africa Stephen Crotus ka mora hore ka phoswa a bue moyeng wa moetapele wa sona Julius Malema le Mbuyiseni Ndlozi ba qoswa ka ho bolaya lepolesa. Ho phatlalatso ya tlhahiso leseding ka la bobedi, Crotus o boletse hore paki ya nyewo ya bona e ntse e butswa dipotso mabapi le hore na Malema le Ndlozi ba qoswa ka eng ka ho bolaya Venter. Crotus o itse pejana hantse re bua ke ile ka etsa phoso eo ke lakatsa ho kopa tshwarelo ka yona ka phoso ke buile ka polao ke tlameha ho kopa tshwarelo ha ke tsebe hore na polelwana ena e tswa kae ha ile hantle ke nyewo ya tlhasello mme ke lakatsa ho nka monyetla ona ho kopa tshwarelo ho wena moshebelli ka seo ke se boletseng ka phoso eo ke ntseng mme ho ekeletsa mo haeba ke tla etsa jwalo ho Mbuyiseni Ndlozi le ho Julius Malema ke phoso eo ke kwahlelang ka yona empa le halo jwalo Malema le Ndlozi ha ka ba tshwarela.
With us at Newsfeed this afternoon. Earlier today, I made a mistake, which I would like to apologize for. What happened was I was talking about the story, the latest developments from the assault case in which a charge of assault has been laid against Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, the former spokesperson for the EFF, and the EFF leader, Julius Malema. As you know, this has been a big part of the coverage of this afternoon. By mistake, I said murder. I must apologize. I am sorry, I don't know where the word came from. Of course it is an assault case, and I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize to you, the viewer, for what I said, for the mistake that I made, and also, if I may.
Letona la thuto e phaming Blade Nzimbande o re phatlalatso ya mopresidente wa mehleng e le yena Jacob Zuma ya thuto e phaming ya mahala bakeng sa baithuti ba futsanehileng e bakile mathata a maholo bakeng sa sekema sa naha sa thuto ya ditjhelete ya baithuti ba NSFAS. Nzimbande o re ketso ya Zuma e fokoditse ditholetso tsa commission e kgethuleng ho sheba ditjhelete tsa thuto e phaming e fumaneng hore naha ha ina bokgoni ba ho tshehetsa thuto e phaming ya mahala. University ya Wits ena le baithuti ba bokaneng ho kenela setereke sena senang le khotso ho lwanela thuto ya mahala sena ke seo ba se buang.
The time is now. As black people, we need to unite.
Yeah.
Zeblon Villakas, our own. By the way, Fanon warns us about these people.
Exactly.
When he says, you read. When he says black skin, white mask.
Yes.
People project themselves when they want positions to be progressive blacks here. But when they are supposed to show up for the very same poor black people, they want to remind us. Comrades, Zeblon Pilatas says to us that university does not have money when the senior executive team gave themselves semester bonuses of over 20 million rand. That university tells us that they can't register academically excelling black students because they don't have money, when they themselves have a vice chancellor earning 4.4 million. Those are the things we need to start interrogating. But we are clear, comrades. For as long as 8,000 plus students are not back in the system, we are not going to retreat. It does not matter how many we are, 8, 5, 100. For as long as we are committed to the cause, we will shake the crocodile. Comrades, as I conclude, I want to make it clear that the SRC is very proud for all of you for coming out in your numbers to say in the presence of an injustice, we won't be silent. In the presence of that university, excluding 8,000 plus, we are going to fight the crocodile. We want to say...
Mopresidente Cyril Ramaphosa o hlaisitse dingongoreho ka ho phama ha botjhaba lefatsheng. O itse sena se tla bonahala nakong ya sewa sa coronavirus ka dinaha tse ruileng tse bontshang boithati ka ho bokela diente tsa COVID-19 ha dinaha tse tswelang pele di lwanela ho fumana disebediswa. O na bua nakong ya kopano ya marangrang ya baetapele le mongodi kakaretso wa UN Antonio Guterres.
Develop vaccines, are hoarding the vaccines because of their muscle power in terms of finance. They've gone out and they've bought up all the vaccines and ordering much up to 10 times more than what their own populations need, and almost denying access to more developing countries. We're also seeing rising racism. And nearly every week you now hear stories of racism that just disturbs one as you contemplate it. Climate change is another one. It's a major one for African countries because in the main, the less developed countries have not really been responsible for the climate change that
Mohlanka e moholo wa mehleng wa Transnet Group eleng yana Brian Molefen o reretswe ho tswela pele ho fana ka bopaki ho Commission ya Patlisiso mabapi le ho tshwarwa ha naha Johannesburg ka Laboraro hoseng. Maobane Molefe o boleletse commission hore o ila lahla qoso ya mo engineer wa Transnet eleng yana Francis Collard ya hore diterene tse ratwang ke Molefe tse tswang China South Railway di ne di sa tshwaneleha bakeng sa tshebediso ya lehae. Molefe o re moifo wa China South Railways o etetse diofisi tsa Transnet mme a etsa tlhaiso ya kgwebo. Molefe o tlisitse hore ho ne ho sena kgethollo ho CSR abane ba signa tender le company e theilweng China.
Last night. As I say, I have no objection to that, but the protocol is they should be shared with us.
I have not made copies of these notes, but it's just a handwritten notes on the phone.
Have you got a hard copy of the same notes?
Can I use my notebook then?
To do what?
To read from.
Or you have made notes on the notebook?
On the notebook or on the phone, it's the same notes.
Yes, you say the notes are both on the phone and in the notebook?
Yes.
Same notes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, then Mr. Mybeck is simply saying, then if they could have copies of the notes that you are going to use.
The copies of the notes that I made on my notebook.
Yeah, if you are going to rely on them in giving evidence.
But I'm just going to...
If you are not going to rely on them, obviously, you don't have to share them.
No, but Chair, these notes are to remind me exactly what is written in this document. and where it is?
Well, Mr. Mybeck, do you want to?
I wouldn't like for the questioning to be delayed. Perhaps it's something that we can try and deal with at lunchtime.
At lunchtime.
And if you could perhaps on that basis permit Mr.
But Chair, if I see a section here that I want to refer to, and then I write on my notebook that paragraph 2.4.21, must I then share that?
Well, it's innocuous like that, therefore you wouldn't have any problem even if you were to share it. But Mr. Mybeck has requested me to allow you to look at them, and then around lunchtime, there can be a discussion. There can be a discussion about the use of the notes.
Okay, I won't use the notes.
All right.
So
it's really just a simple point. I mean, I'm just pointing out to you the finding. You can deal with it if you want or not. They say that the session was invalid because the LOI had expired. It's really as simple as that.
yes, but the LOI had been renewed several times.
All right.
And what I was just about to check now, because I did make a note about it, was that in the 3 times, it was renewed 3 times, but I think it was also renewed.
Mohi se ka sutha re sa dipapatsong re tla khutla hape ka ditaba tsa rona tsa Sesotho.
Make massive moves.
I feel confident. I feel like I can take on the world.
So you're telling a story through your clothes.
Such a professional, you wouldn't even know.
Criticism is one of my biggest motivations.
Darling, you want to be a model?
Like, oh my God.
I'm glistening.
The fashion industry needs people with beautiful faces. I would pay thousands of dollars for that look.
Make massive moves with Starsat.
I want you to eat healthy food because it's delicious.
Make massive moves.
Would you like another one?
I love it.
Love this soup. This is amazing. The grits are so creamy. Oh,
I take pride in my grits.
so flavorful.
I think that looks wonderful.
Yeah.
It's so incredible.
Make massive moves with Starsat. Make massive moves.
Wow.
Let's go. Come on, we can be back by morning.
Looky! Who are you?
I'm the boss.
Really?
Really?
Yeah! Awesome! Totally! Yeehaw! Very funny.
Make massive moves with Starsat. Make massive moves.
You're the best fighter in China.
Give me the Emperor's sword and I'll spare your life.
Shisha sector's gone too far.
Make massive moves with Starsat.
Mohira a mamela hape ho ditaba tsa rona tsa Sesotho mo Galaxy Universal Network channel 500 ho Starsat ra fumana ho Facebook re Galaxy Universal Network me ho Twitter le Instagram re gun_tv_. Palo ya batho ba bolailweng ke leototo la ho phatlwa diahelong tsa Sesole Equatorial Guinea e nyolile ka mashume ho isa ho bonyane ba 98 ba bolailweng ka mora ho fumanwa ha ditopo tse ding mmuso o boletse la bobedi. Mopresidente Theodoro Obiang Nguema o re mmuso o tla tshwara kopano ya tshwanyetso ho sheba hore na bahlaseduwa ba ka fumana thuso ka pele jwang ho tswa ho Equatorial Guinea pele ho thuso ya matjhabeng e fihla. Ho phatlwa ka Sontaha tikolohong ya toropo ya Bata ya Mondong Nkwantoma le hona ho lemetse bonyane ba batho ba 615 ba boholong ba boletse. Mmuso o boletse hore ba 316 ba lemetse ba se ba lokollotswe mme ba 299 ba ntse ba le tlhokomelong dipetleleng tse fapaneng toropong.
Medics and rescue workers in Equatorial Guinea searched through rubble on Monday as the death toll from a series of explosions at the weekend mounted. The blasts at a military barracks in Bata killed 98 people, the health ministry said, citing the vice president. Around 600 people have been previously reported as injured, and President Teodoro Obiang Nguema says almost all the city's homes and buildings have been damaged. It has a population of over 250,000 people. He's attributed the accident to negligence related to the handling of dynamite. Images published by local media showed bodies wrapped in sheets lining the side of the road, and children being pulled from under piles of broken concrete and twisted metal. The explosions come as the former Spanish colony suffers a double economic shock caused by the global health crisis and a drop in the price of crude oil, which accounts for around 3/4 of state revenues. The majority of Equatorial Guinea's 1.4 million people live in poverty, and the government has called for international support for the search and rescue effort and to rebuild. On Monday, Spain's foreign minister said a shipment of
balatedi ba moetapele wa bohanyetsi wa Senegal Ousmane Sonko ba ketekile motsomoholo Dakar ka Mantaha ka mora hore a lokollwe ka beili. Ho tshwara ha Ousmane bekeng e fetileng o bakile merusi e mpe ka ho fetisisa e naha ya Afrika Bophirima e bileng le yona ka dilemo. Mekete ileng ya khutsufatswa ha morao ke mapolesa a ileng a tebela batshetsi ba Ousmane.
Thousands of supporters of Ousmane Sonko gathered at his home in Dakar on Monday after the Senegalese opposition leader was released on bail under judicial supervision. His arrest a week ago, following an accusation of rape, ignited clashes between protesters and police in which, according to Amnesty International, at least 8 people have died. Sonko was indicted on Monday on the charge that he says is politically motivated. The government denies this, but political pressure has been rising for President Macky Sall, whose tenure has been plagued by accusations that he unjustly torpedoes his political rivals. Some are suspicious of the accusations against Sonko, because 2 other prominent rivals of Sall were previously targeted by criminal charges that prevented them from running for president in 2019. Kindled by Sonko's arrest, the protests have since grown into the worst political unrest in years for one of West Africa's most stable democracies. As Senegal's youth vents frustrations over unemployment, inequality.
Ntlo ya baemedi ya US e tla qala ka laboraro ho mofuta wa senate wa phallo ya $1.9 trillion ya diphaello tsa COVID-19 e tsheditsweng ke mopresidente Joe Biden, sebui Nancy Pelosi o boletse. Ha kwala tumelo ya ho qetela ya engwe ya mehato e moholo ka ho fetisisa ya America ya ho lwantsha bofuma ho tloha dilemong tsa 1960, ma-Democrats a ikemiseditse ho hloma melao e moholo ka Sontaha ha melemo e ntlafaditsweng ya ho hloka mosebetsi e se e fedile. Jwalo ka Senate, Democrats e na le bongata bo moqetetsane ka phaposing ho bolelang hore ba keke ba mamela dikgetho tse ngata kgahlano le beili.
U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says lawmakers will vote on the Senate's $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief package by this Wednesday.
We'll be having a further discussion about this bill as we move forward to its passage in the next 48 hours.
Democrats aim to enact the legislation by Sunday, when enhanced federal unemployment benefits are set to expire. President Joe Biden has backed the plan, which, if passed, would be the biggest anti-poverty measure since the 1960s. On Monday, Pelosi also pointed to the bill's potential impact for women on the global day for celebrating their importance.
It's important to acknowledge on International Women's Day the connection between the advancement of women, the recognition of the contributions of women, and the needs that are met in the American Rescue Plan.
The Senate passed its version after an overnight vote on Saturday, which eliminated a House-proposed increase to the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour and expanded jobless assistance through August. If approved by the House, it will make its way to Biden's desk.
Mokga wa Republic o ikemiseditse ho dula o sebedisa lebitso la mopresidente wa mehleng e leng yena Donald Trump dibakeng tsa ho bokella tjhelete le disebediswa tse ding. Molli wa mokga o boletse hore le ha bili le lengolo la ho emisa le ho tlohela ho tswa ho Trump bekeng e fetileng, lengolo le rometsweng ke babuelli ba molao ba Trump ka Labohlano ho komiti ya naha ya Republic, National Republican DRM campaign le National Republican ene impefaditse tsitsipano dipakeng tsa dikampo tsena tse pedi ha Trump a batla ho boloka boiketlo ba hae ba dipolotiki ka mora dikgetho. Moletse wa Trump o boletse ka moqabelo hore Trump o na ela a hloko tshebediso ya lebitso la hae le sebopeo sa hae molemong wa ho tshwaya lebitso, mme o ile a lefiswa ke hore dihlopha tse tharo di tshetse baetsi ba molao ba Republican ba ikopantsheng le Democrats ho voteng ho qosa ka la Pherekgong ya US Capitol ka batshetsi ba Trump.
The Republican Party plans to keep using former President Donald Trump's name in their marketing material, a GOP lawyer said on Monday, despite a request by Trump last week to stop doing so. Trump's lawyers had sent a cease and desist letter on Friday to the Republican National Committee and the National Republican Congressional and Senate campaigns, ramping up tension between Trump and the GOP. A Trump advisor said on Saturday that he was sensitive to the use of his name for branding purposes and was irked that the three groups have supported Republicans who voted to impeach him over the deadly riot at the U.S. Capitol. In their response, the RNC's top lawyer said Trump, quote, reaffirmed party leadership over the weekend that he approves the current use of his name. The party also argued that it had, quote, every right to refer to public figures as it engages in core First Amendment protected political speech. A representative for Trump did not immediately respond to a request for comment on the letter. But in a statement late on Monday, Trump declared no more money for rhinos or Republicans in name only. He added, quote, they do nothing but hurt the Republican Party.
Mabotho a tshireletso a Myanmar a ile a hlakola bopelaetso bo kgahlano le bojunta ka bobedi ka mora hore ba itseki ba magolo ba batjha ba neng ba qebelletswe bosiu bo bong setrekeng sa toropo ya yona e kgolo ya Yangon ba kgona ho tswa. Mebuso ya bophirimela le matjhaba a kopane di ne di ipileditse ho babusi ba sesole sa Myanmar hore ba dumele batjha ho tloa ka mora ho tshaba polokeho ya bona ha mabotho a kena. Nka sesole le ho tshwara moetapele ya kgethilweng ka la Hlakola ho tlisitse setjhaba sa Asia Borwa botjhabela ho emisa haufinyane. Bobilaetso ba letsatsi le letsatsi bontse bo etswa naheng ka bophara, mme mabotho a tshireletso a lwana ka thata. Babilaetse ba fetang 60 ba bolailwe, mme ba fetang 1800 ba tshwerwe, sehlopha sa babuelli se boletse.
Myanmar forces trapped protesters in the country's biggest city, Yangon, overnight on Monday. Hundreds of young protesters were blocked by security forces from leaving the neighbourhood Sanchong. Thousands then poured onto the streets in support of those trapped, despite a nighttime curfew. Flashes of light from police firing guns and stun grenades lit up the night. On Tuesday, activists told Reuters the trapped protesters were finally able to leave after calls from Western powers and the UN for their release. The military takeover and arrest of elected leader Aung San Suu Kyi has plunged Myanmar into chaos. Over 60 protesters have been killed and nearly 2,000 people detained, according to a local advocacy group. Determined to continue their crackdown, 5 media companies in Myanmar were stripped of their licenses, according to state TV on Monday. The independent outlets include Myanmar Now, Democratic Voice of Burma, Mazima 7.
Re fitlhile pheletsong ya ditaba tsa rona tsa Sesotho ha re khutle re teneng hape ka hosane hona mona ho Galaxy Universal Network channel 500 for Starsat. Hi Papa Twe.